Falcon fans, what it do, man? Good evening. A Sunday evening pop-up show, man. What's going on? Welcome to the 95 North Sports Machine. I got my guy, my co-host, Antoine Smitty Smith, Chris Tipmore, and we have two very special guests joining us this evening, for this pop-up show. We have some things to talk about, man, regarding these Atlanta Falcons. We have J.R. Clark of Pound for Pound and Ricardo, a real Falcon fan. I'm not going to mimic. I'm going to let you do that, but we're going to kick it off with JR first. JR, what it do, man? How you doing, brother?
Oh man, what's going on, gentlemen? Just trying to end out this weekend on a good note, chatting with y'all about the Falcons and what we witnessed on Friday.
Indeed. Kondo.
What's going on, guys? I think last time I was on here with y'all was draft night.
Woo!
Yeah, I
think so.
To say the least.
I'm not gonna tell you this every time you come on here with Kondo.
What's up?
You know what to do.
Yeah, I'm getting to it.
Okay, yeah, just making sure.
But you know, man, this is gonna be an interesting season. I can say that. You know what I'm saying? So this is your boy Ricardo coming back at you with another video.
Hey man, that was kind of dry, man. You gotta do better. This is the sports.
Start the show over.
Say it with your
Hey, everybody know.
Oh, Lord, man. Absolutely, man. But, fellas, man, we got some Falcons football on Friday night against the Miami Dolphins. And, a lot of mixed emotions across the media, us fans, content creators, what have you not, man. But we did see the ever so important debut of 8th overall pick Michael Penix, which drew a lot of raving criticism from a lot of people. But I want to get it from you guys, man. How did you guys feel about Michael Penix's first start in this very young NFL season? We'll go with Ricardo, man. What was your assessment on what the debut of Michael Penix?
It went as expected, honestly. I thought he did well. I thought he seemed like he knows the offense. It seems like he went through his progressions like he needed to. He had some throws that he probably wanted back. But for the most part, first getting out there, I thought he did. He played pretty well for himself. And the offensive line, I mean, that was the backups. I thought they held up well in the passing game too. So run game, different story, but in the passing game, giving him time to go through his progressions. I thought him and Casey Washington had a good connection out there. Chris Blair, I know he probably wanted that fumble back, but he did hit him down the sideline. But
in stride.
I mean, I to me, he played way better than Taylor Heineke. And I know we probably can get into that, but
man, my grandmama could have played better than Taylor Heineke.
But and that could be just because Taylor Heineke. I mean, let's be honest, he's not getting a lot of snaps at camp.
No, he's not. He's
not getting a lot of snaps at camp. So I guess you can use that as an excuse, but
he's still a vet.
Yeah, and that's why to me it's just piss poor performance because he's been in the league too long to be playing like that.
And my thing is, he played so poorly, and Nathan Rourke, he drove the team down the field twice.
Yeah,
he didn't get in the end zone. He showed fight, he showed grit, but he still gets cut.
Yeah, I don't get it, man.
I don't get it.
They brought back.
That performance. I mean, it seemed like he didn't even try to get first downs. Like it's 3rd and 5, and you go deep. Like, dude, are you trying to move the ball or what? Like. It seems like he don't know what he was doing out there.
Chris,
I know we're talking about Penix, but to me, when I think about some of the bad spots of the preseason, Taylor Heineke, he was just his whole time on the field was a waste of time. I mean, it didn't help nobody out from offensive defensive standpoint. It was just a waste of time.
Right.
But as far as Penix go, I mean, yes, I can say he can be the future for the Atlanta Falcons. The way he presented himself to come out, like I said, some throws. He had a couple of throws that's off target, but you can see he did progressions. You can see he's calm. He wasn't panicking. He got pressured a couple of times. He got rid of the ball. So I like what I've seen from Michael Penix.
Right. Yeah, I like what I've seen as well, man. He showced some skills. I'll give you the facts here, man. Give you the facts, man. he showcased his skills, man. It was a mix of sharp passes, ball placement, and he did have some effective decision making, I think. So to Ricondo's point, I think he does. Wow, it was a few passes he went back. You know, I believe he definitely could have went at least 11 or 12 for 16 at least. But he still completed, several key throws, displayed good vision, went through those progressions like Ricondo just said as well. Ain't that something? A quarterback going through progressions. Ain't that something? But overall, though, Penix, man, he showed a natural calm in the pocket. I don't believe that's something that you can teach. That thing seemed to come naturally for him. His performance is promising. If he continues to demonstrate his potential and continues to develop and adapt to the NFL level, man, I think the sky is the limit, and the future can be bright after Kirk Cousins decides to move on, or we decide to move on from him. I like what I saw.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right. What say you, JR?
No, I agree with a lot of points that were made. I joked while I was live tweeting during the game. I was like, all right, I need to see him go across the middle because, he likes to use that sideline as a safety net. Like, if he's gonna miss out there where can't nobody get to it. I need him to see him work, and he did. Of course, as in true ironic fashion, about 2 seconds after I sent the tweet out, he connects right across the middle to, I think it was to Blair, across the middle, and I was like, all right, cool, shut me up, because that was something that even when we were down at the bins on Friday before the game, it was, if he was completing passes, it was on the sideline. I'm like, all right, cool. You're comfortable doing that, and that's fine. Now I need to see you do like the rest of it. And he showed a lot, in my opinion. The receivers didn't help him out much.
Right.
That stat line could have looked a lot better.
Yeah.
True.
Had the receivers, and hey, those were young guys too, who are still, trying to figure it out. But if any of y'all have seen the breakdown of that Chase Daniels put out on Twitter,
I did catch a little bit of it. I did.
Yeah. Y'all should definitely check that out, because he brings up a lot of good points. But yeah, I thought that during the game, I was like, man, there's and not just with Penix, but even with Rorick, we could have had a couple more touchdowns if receivers made a little bit better play on the ball.
Yeah, Michael Penix, man, 9 for 16 for 104 yards. Did look really good. Loved the way, and I think Miss Lisa Shepard really brought it in, cool, calm, and collected. Exactly. The game didn't seem like it was too big for him. Sure, playing in a program of Washington, and coming into the NFL, of course, two different worlds. But the fandom is there for that regard. But Penix, the connection with Casey Washington. That I'm interested to see what Washington what Casey could do this year with a better playing quarterback in Kirk Cousins. Can that match rate faster than we anticipate on the field this year? I think he misdiagnosed one jump, but it would have been a big play, kind of similar to like what Blair did up the sideline. But with Casey Washington, he's coming as advertised, man. A strong route runner, strong hands. So I'm really excited about him. And another thing that I'm excited about is the offensive line, right? He's sure that the run department, like Ricondo had mentioned, really didn't give up too much, but the pass protection seems solid with the reserve. So shout out to Dwayne Ledford, man. We got a real one there, man, and a keeper. I know that when the coaching staff comes, they like to gut everything, start off fresh. But I know Raheem, being a smart man that he is, definitely saw the value in keeping Dwayne Ledford and elevating him a little bit more. But fellas, unfortunately, the NFL, it's a physical game, right? And there was a couple injuries that these Atlanta Falcons have to rectify. I want to say ASAP, right? It's still young. We're still trying to feel out, the guys that we have on the staff, but a presumed starter and DeMarco Hellams goes down just a few minutes into the first quarter. Now it's TBD on what his status is going to be for the year, but now that leaves a hole in a potential as a starter. Are we going to rely on Richie Grant, or are we going to entertain a big name that's still lingering out there by the name of Justin Simmons? JR, I'd like to get your thoughts on this, man. What do you feel about the DeMarco Hellams situation? What should the Falcons do next in that regard?
I think that you it might speed up a timetable in the sense of taking a look at a Justin Simmons, because past DeMarco Hellams, you saw it on display afterwards. Lucas Dennis, like
Yep.
they could have left him in Miami.
They
You
really
know,
could have.
because that dude was driving me up a wall. Now Abernathy, he looked pretty good. But you know, now you're talking about, you know, you've lost presumably your backup safety that you felt good about, that you went into camp saying, okay, this guy's battling with the other, you know, with our other guy out there. So I would be interested to see if one of these injuries, whether it's an injury to Trice or whether it's injury to Hellams, does it spark a big move, whether it's a Simmons or, you know, if we go out and try to you know, grab another pass rusher. But I would definitely be taking a look at Justin Simmons, because there's been plenty of, like, you know, talking heads on Twitter that have said, like, you pair Justin Simmons and Jesse Bates, you have just created like a strength in the backfield in a way that you haven't had ever here in Atlanta.
Ever, you're right.
Yeah,
Ever,
right.
dog.
Like,
we ain't never had. We always had the peanut butter, no jelly. But
right,
with that,
right.
we had
You
the
know, like
combination.
for like a half a season, like Deku and Willie Moe
William Moore, yeah.
was an extremely good tandem, but you know, Deku, like, you know,
That damn Deku, man. That damn Deku.
he flew the coop, so
Just say the least.
Oh man,
shout out to
let me ask you this: would it be a conflicting signing, bringing a guy like Justin Simmons? He obviously he does the same thing that Jesse Bates does here in Atlanta. He did the same thing in Denver. Now relying on a guy like Justin Simmons, who's a little bit smaller in stature, not as physical. His game is more erasing the top of a defense, but Jesse Bates does that for us a lot. Are we sold on having Justin Simmons as that enforcer? You know, because he probably plays some box nickel safety or something like that. Would it make sense to sign a guy like Justin Simmons now?
Well, in the type of defense that you're going to be relying on, or that the league itself is going to, is that two deep shell. Now you have that two deep shell with, you know, the two safeties, and you can man up with the corners, or you know, you run more like you talk about your enforcer. You could also alleviate that with a, you know, somebody like a hybrid linebacker.
Yeah.
You know, linebacker types. I don't think that this defense is necessarily looking for an enforcer coming out of the secondary. But I mean, I could be wrong on that, but that's not what I have seen so far.
You're absolutely right, and I agree. And I think, and I remember Jesse Bates playing some strong safety in Cincinnati. So he was back and forth between free and strong safety in Cincinnati. And he played single high, so he had 132 tackles. So I think he can switch over and let Justin Simmons play free safety, because both are good in zone coverage, two of the best in the league. So like I've said before, man, you having AJ, you having that number 2 corner. Hell, you even having the linebackers. Because if Jesse Bates plays in the box, we know how he reads quarterback. It could be an advantage for them on that side of the field. So yeah, I think they won't go out and make too stupid of a move. I don't think.
Yeah, for me, just seeing how bad Richard Grant was in coverage last year. You need another cover guy. I understand that, you know, the physicality, bringing somebody in the box, but if you can put, you know, good coverage in the back, that helps. That helps your pass rush out as well. And like you said, I think they can tag team that thing. I think Jesse Bates is physical enough that if you had to put somebody in the box, he could be that guy. But I mean, I think it'll be a home run if they was to bring in just. You see, he did visit the Saints. I was kind of worried about that. I was like, man, I hope they don't get that guy. But I guess no deal was made, you know, in that visit. But
that ain't gonna do nothing for the Saints, man. The honey badger is a honey bun nowadays, bro. He ain't the same player he used to be, man. I don't want him. Because folks were going crazy. They were going crazy on Twitter, man, about that situation. Jew Talk Sports, man. What's going on? Glad you could join the stream, man.
What's going on, Jew Talk?
Says, if we get Justin Simmons, we will have the best safety tandem in the NFL. It's hard to
Easily.
disagree.
That's what I've been
Easily.
saying.
Easily.
And it helps
Banging
the
the
pass
table
rush.
for this man.
Man, it helps the pass rush tremendously, man. I think you go get another cover safety, like a Justin Simmons. Even with the injury to Braylon Trice, I still think it helps. Still think it helps the pass rush.
Definitely, 100%.
Absolutely.
So to bring in a guy
with JR talking about Lucas Dennis, man, that dude would piss me off so bad.
They picked on him immediately.
Oh my God!
Dude,
they went after that head immediately. It was like,
and when you play zone, you get like where were you? Oh man, he was pissing me off.
Like you can even hear it in DJ Shockley's voice. Like when he was talking, he was trying his best not to like
what you doing
on TV. Like what are you doing back there? Somebody had put up earlier about it was Dixon Way talking about where you're going to get the money to grab Simmons. Like
correct.
You could sign AJ, like you could sign him today and open
AJ.
up $12 million right there. And then with guys who you know are going to be on this team, you know, for years to come, like a Lindstrom, a Bates.
Front load they
right, you can restructure. Right.
Yeah.
Yep, you can restructure your stuff
easily. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. You know what I'm saying? And they've done a good job of not trying to do any of that funky stuff, which I can appreciate that with Terry, but like now's the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're like these are the situations that you do some funky stuff for.
You have to, man. The Falcons have a little bit over $2 million in cap space heading into this 2024 campaign. So I would expect the Falcons to restructure somebody's contract before we hit the ground running week 1. You know, we definitely need some emergency money. You know, I'm glad that these injuries didn't happen while we were, entrenched in the season. It kind of happened now where we can shuffle, make some moves, restructure now, and it's not going to make that much of a deal. But going forward, man, it's a position we have to address. Definitely. What's going on, Smith?
The key part of what you're saying, if you sign a Justin Simmons, even though Braylon Trice went down, we still have D'Angelo Malone, we still have Lorenzo Carter. You can work with that if you got that safety back there on the back end of the defense helping out. That's 2 all-pro players in the backfield. We don't even know who the number 2. We don't even know who the number 2 corner is going to be. So that helped
Kevin King.
Kevin King.
Hey, by the way, Kevin King owes Zach Harrison some money. He owes Zach Harrison some money.
Definitely. But let's talk about this. Kevin King, happy for him, right? Grabbed an interception over, it's been 30 months, I think they
30 months. Yep, 30 months.
Since he did anything significant. But having guys like Jerry Gray and Justin Hood here who know Kevin King exclusively, working with him in Green Bay, is there a possibility that they can start cross-training him and having him play the safety role? Could that be something that this coaching staff entertain? It seems like Antonio Hamilton Sr. It could be a reliable backup to Mark Phillips or Mike Hughes. So that could be fine. But putting Kevin King, sliding him over to a safety spot, would that make a difference? I mean, I don't know. You guys let me know. I mean, it could happen.
I'm always wary about cross training, just because. In the Falcons experience, it hasn't gone like extremely well, but I do know that the vast majority of people, the position you talk about, when a guy gets long in the tooth, so to speak, or a little older, is a corner switching to, safety, because it's not as, quick twitch. You're not finding yourself running in trail position. So if somebody in the panel might be a little bit better experience with it, but that is an intriguing thought.
Just for thought, fellas.
Definitely. I mean, it's a good thought, but I mean, I agree actually with JR saying about the whole cross training thing, especially like this close to the season right now. I'm not saying that he couldn't pick it up quickly. It's just I don't like the idea. But it could be something that they entertain because we do have the coaching staff for it. We do have the teaching for it. It's just how quickly will he be able to pick it up, not naturally be in his position. I like Anthony Hamilton. I think he can be a good backup. He played decent. Yeah. And that's not surprising just because he got a shot, down in Arizona. So now he's trying to come here and prove his worth as well. So we'll see about it with the corner position, but I still like making some moves to go get Justin. I'm sorry, man. Go get Justin Simmons, man. I've been talking about this man for 5
Another
months.
safety came off the board again today in Tayshaun Gibson, who we had a couple of years ago. So the safety position getting thinner by the day. You have Adrian Phillips and Cody Davis, the last two free safeties, and that strong safety. You got Micah Hyde, who's coming off an injury, so he's probably going to be one of those last minute to sign guys. Former Falcon Keanu Neal, Ryan Neal, and Deron Harmon, who we had a couple of years ago. That's your safety left on the market.
Right. Didn't Micah Hyde retire?
He probably did.
I thought he had retired, but I mean,
he probably did because he had a bad injury last year.
Right.
Right.
Real bad injury.
Ricardo, what you got to say, man? What's up, bro?
Yeah. Just talking about Kevin King. Be honest with you, man. That was another good thing I liked about the game as well. The defensive backfield. The cornerbacks in particular, Kevin King, Anthony Hamilton, Antonio Johnson, all those guys played well, man. So, just the fact that we didn't have any of our corners out there, the depth there, we don't know who the second cornerback gonna be, but those guys played well, man. They was in the pockets of all the receivers. They was getting PPUs. Kevin King almost had 2 picks. And of course, that was, like he said, it was Zach Harrison, that pressure, coming from Zach Harrison. But from the secondary, from the cornerback position, I was impressed, because that was one of the things that we were figuring out who's going to be that second number 2 corner. But the way those guys played, I like the depth there, just to say, from a cornerback position.
No, and I remember saying Antonio Hamilton was one of the guys to look out for because last 2 years of Arizona were his best 2 years in the league, and it seemed like he finally turned that corner. So I could see Antonio Hamilton as number 2 or nickelback. So we'll see how it turns out.
Some depth there, y'all.
Got a quick super chat from Willie Doc. Thank you for the $5 bid, man. Said appreciate everyone's expertise with these injuries. Could we still win the NFC South? Would we be able to make a deep run in the playoffs? Thanks, y'all. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, man. Just barring all these injuries, man, it's the offensive show, man. So I think we're in good hands, with this offense. If we can play competent defense or that bend but don't break mentality, even though we don't want that, I think we could make a pretty decent run in the playoffs, no doubt, man.
Agree. And to be honest, I'm not gonna say I like that this happening, but we're really gonna see how TF and Raheem Morris react to these injuries and how they counter these injuries.
I don't know about y'all.
Bring it.
I'm starting to get like a side eye at TF. Like, all right, dog.
Yeah.
Like the shine has worn off, my friend. If we want to talk about, like, some folks want to try to say, oh, he couldn't do what he wanted to do because of Arthur, what have you. Okay, it's your show now.
That's out the door.
Right. You can't hide behind
Right.
that no more. So, like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying?
It's important to say too. This is his first wave of significant injuries that happened before season starts. He had one to deal with Kyle Pitts in season, but beforehand, the Falcons been pretty healthy going into the start of the season. So it's like JR says, give him the side. I say, hey, TF, what you gonna do? Ball's in your court now.
That's
Time
it.
to pivot, man.
Yeah. How you gonna pivot from this? This is a part of the game. This is part of your job.
I said earlier, move them contracts around. Do what you got to do.
Right. I mean,
don't sign AJ. I mean, I know we've been talking on the show and saying for a long time, don't get into another Julio, Matt, Deion Jones situation. But right now, you don't really have a choice. You want to win now team. Jake Matthews, Grady Jarrett, David Onyemata getting up in age. We know that.
Right.
So now
you pushed your chips in. You pushed your chips to the table when you brought in Kirk Cousins.
Right.
Yeah.
When you gave that man $90 million for 2 years, $180 million for 4. Like, when you did that, you said we ain't gonna accept. Right.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna accept any more mediocre play.
Right.
And we feel like we got the roster to at least compete. All right, fine. You took a hit. You tried to get Montez Sweat, Daniil Hunter, All
Yeah.
these other guys, you ain't been able to close the deal.
Mhm.
So, like, now you need to. It's time to nut up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
something's got to
absolutely.
give, and then we got
And
an owner that's ready
ahead.
to win now. That's why all
Right.
this money is like going different places and into different positions that we need. I will give Terry that we have got positions that we need, but I definitely need to see how he's going to pivot from this. Are we going to stay pat? Or are we going to go try to make some moves? I mean, things
Facts.
need to happen. So I agree with you
Ricondo
guys.
look like he
Sean is
anxious.
going
Go
off.
ahead, Ricondo.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Ricardo.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think because I think Raheem Morris played a big role in this too, and I hope
Indeed.
that he's not getting into that whole Arthur Smith thing. I think we can coach up somebody. You see what I'm saying? And if you get into that crap, you know what I'm saying, because we need to get somebody. I agree with y'all 100%. Y'all need to make a move.
Ricondo,
But if you get into the
I
thing
gotta
like,
go there.
well, I think I got a great coaching staff. We can coach up somebody to do. Nah, man, you need players. I mean, that's
Mhm.
just you got to get
Ricondo,
players.
I gotta
And
go there.
that's what happened
I
with the
gotta go there
quarterback.
again.
That's what happened with
Where
the
you going,
quarterback.
Smitty?
Yep, that's what happened with the
I'm going
quarterback.
just
They
like we talked
again
about.
thought
Go
they
ahead,
had
Ricondo.
something and they screwed it up. So don't do
Right,
that junk again, man. Don't do it again. Don't do it
right.
again.
And I got to
Yep.
go. We talked about Justin Simmons earlier. We said, "Here, go for it. Win our team." I'm gonna go back on a
Right.
limb and say what I said the other day. This is exactly why I said it. This is exactly why my boy Bro Talk said it. If you want to make a real change on this team and go for the future right now, go get a guy like a Michael Parsons who you know can come in and dominate, and who you're gonna have the next 5-6 years.
That's
If
it.
you want to make a splash move and finish this team off the right way, go make a move like that. What did the Rams owner say when they didn't have a first round pick for 6 years? He said to hell with them picks. So you got to have that mindset when you have a win out team. Remember when the
Yep.
Rams went out and got Von Miller and Matthew Stafford? What
Mhm.
same
Jalen
type
Ramsey.
thing? Raheem
They pushed
was
all their
on that
chips in.
team. Raheem was a coach on that team. So you go out, you got Kirk Cousins, that's your quarterback. Remember they got Von Miller, you go out and get Michael Parsons. That's your edge rusher. You talked about Jalen Ramsey. What is Jesse Bates? One of the best safeties in the league. You go ahead and pay AJ his money, put him to get him out the way, put that $10 to $12 million back on the books, and hey, we rolling again.
Yeah.
No, that would be a long-term solution. Seriously, though.
Jerry Jones don't want to pay nobody down there anyway, except for
He
Zeke.
not gonna pay everybody. You got CD, Dak, and you got
Right,
Michael.
he
Michael's the
over here
odd
talking
man.
about
Think
like
about it. Think about
Yeah.
it. Like I said before, though, he's got to pay Dak Prescott because he cannot afford to start over at quarterback again. He got to pay CD Lamb because that's Dak #1 target. So who's going to be the odd man out? Michael Parsons.
That's
Michael
it.
Parsons. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
he just
better
needs to
pay
come on
that
to
before the
Atlanta.
season. Because if he don't pay that gone.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
No
100%,
franchise
man.
tag, no
Look,
trade clause.
you
He's
don't-
gone. So if
you
he
don't
don't
think
pay
the
him,
Raiders
he
are
don't pay
watching
him
that
before this
situation?
season. That gone.
The Giants
Oh, yeah.
would be a better.
You're right,
situation.
JR.
I mean,
You're
you don't.
right.
Okay,
Malik Neighbors,
Raiders
you
are
don't think
rolling
you
out
know?
Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. You don't think they ain't watching
Yeah.
to see what Dak does?
Yep.
That's
Mhm.
true.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's
That's a
tough.
team that's probably a quarterback away from
That's tough.
from being in some serious contention, man.
Yep.
Look at
But
the
all
Seahawks
this-
too, though.
Yeah, all this pass
Snowball.
rusher talk is really stemming from the fact that we did lose our, third round pick in the form of Braylon Trice to towards ACL in Friday night's action. This is sparking the conversation as to what do the Falcons do now at edge rusher, right? Currently in-house James Smith Williams, Lorenzo Carter, Arnold Ebiketie, Zach Harrison. He's probably going to play that tweener, he's going to probably put one hand in the dirt and rush from the outside. And then other than that, what else do the Falcons have? We drafted Braylon in the third, or he fell to us in the third. I know the Falcons were counting on him a good little bit as he's been running with the first string defense in training camp. So I think that the training staff was high on him. So to your Michael Parsons, there's other, top tier talent as well that could be available. Compensation, maybe some, but not as extraordinary as it would be as for getting a Micah Parsons. Hassan Reddick is still a no-show in Jets camp. Trey Hendrickson is still waiting, to get his contract. So those are two other possibilities. There's a guy up here my way,
but
name of Matthew Judon. Hold on. By Matthew Judon, that also is looking for new money and is a proven player in this league. So the Falcons definitely do have some options. So not necessarily do we need to swing for the fences and get a guy like Michael Parsons. It's an absolute dream. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound like I'm hating on it. It would be a
Oh no, you're not. You're not.
a what is it? A franchise-changing move. Getting a Michael Parsons is like going up and drafting a Julio Jones, like we did in 2011. It's on that same level. That's the same dividends are being paid there. But there's other guys as well, because we don't want to handicap the Falcons either in future picks and all this allotted money for other contracts down the line. If you paid Michael
think about it, Berto. The reason why I said Michael Parsons, I'm thinking about the age. I'm thinking about the contract that's coming off the book, and Grady, Jake Matthews, and those guys. And then Jesse Bates only had about 2 years left on his deal. So I'm thinking about the future. That's why I brought it up.
Cool. Yeah.
That's cool. You talk about Matthew Judon, who's probably going to get re-signed by the Patriots. That could leave like a Josh Uche out in the wind as far as their like future plans.
Yeah.
So that's true. There's like a lower tier or like a lower caliber, guys that we could, potentially go after. Because I know they were eyeing, or there was reports that they were eyeing Uche before he went back to the Patriots. So that might be interesting. And then I wonder if that's in conference, but well, no, I was thinking of Gross Matos, but he looks like he went to San Francisco. So
Frisco.
Yeah, I think he went west.
He did. He went west. And so I highly doubt San Francisco is going to come off a guy they just re-signed. So I was looking at potential guys that we could trade for. Oh, we could go back in the time machine and see if we could get a Kavalavan Chasian.
Oh God, an LSU favorite? Come on, JR.
I remember that year he come out, man.
Me too, man. We were all over him. Well, folks were all over him. Ricondo, what you got, Ricondo?
So the reason we talk about this, because if you watch the preseason game, they had Lorenzo Carter out there. He was out there. They had, like you said, Evan Katie played a lot of snaps.
Which
is they trying to see what he got. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, that's concerning because we ain't deep at that position already. But you have
100%.
You're starting in out there, and Lorenzo Carter. You had Armor Katie play a lot of snaps. We lost Braden Trice. We getting thin, man. So I know they saw Brandon and I. They brought him in, but they don't have a lot of choices there. So it's concerning that when you got who we thought was going to be, one of our premier pass rushers play a lot of snaps in preseason. When we seeing guys, just going down on injuries, you think you want to get him out the game, but he played a lot of snaps. He was on special teams. Is he on the? Is he? Is he on the block right now to get cut?
I don't know. It was concerning, man. You got your presumed first string starter on defense at the edge position in Arnold Ebiketie, and he's out there running with special teams. He was making tackles with D'Angelo Malone. I'm like, oh shit, we have D'Angelo Malone sighted.
Man.
But
Malone was everywhere.
Ebiketie played 3 quarters. To me, that's a red flag. And like we were talking before we went live, I'm like, man, that's enough to draw a red flag and say, okay, maybe this organization doesn't value him like the past regime did, or the past regime.
Keep in mind though, he's not their guy, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that we gotta keep in mind is, even though we think highly of him, or we think that he's going to take a next step, and he has been running solidly with the second team or the nickel packages when they've ran him out there during training camp. But like you said, the fact that he was out there as much as he was on Sunday was, extremely concerning to me. Yeah. And I wonder if that is an indication of what role do they see for him.
Well, I can tell you, he can't set an edge to save his life.
No.
No.
You're right.
That was why he couldn't take over the spot from Bud.
Right. He can't set an edge, man. He's terrible at that. So, I mean, the crazy part about it is, if you're looking at it, he our leading sack rusher from last year. Because Calais and Bud gone. Yeah. So he had 6. They had 6.5. So I don't know, man. I don't know what Raheem Morris and the coaching staff got up this, their sleeves to try to create this pass rush. But right now, coming from the outside, I don't know.
No.
Out of your Falcon mind makes a great point. If they don't add the amount of times we see Ellis might go up. And I agree with that. Yeah. And we have James Smith-Williams as well, but at the same time, Caden Ellis is really, to me, a more established pass rusher than Smith-Williams. But we'll see, man, because go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say it might add a new dimension to so far through camp. You have not seen them roll out all three linebackers at one time.
Yeah.
Like they have not rolled out Ellis, Landman, and Anderson. With them going down, depending on, like with Trice going down, that might open up a new dimension for, a guy like Anderson who, could come off the edge. So who knows?
Let me paint a scenario right quick.
It could work, JR, because if y'all watch JD Bertrand the other night, he was flying all over the field. And we talked about him being a tackling machine. He showed just that. Special teams. He was shooting gaps. He was doing everything. We were wrapping up on tackles. So you could see Caden Ellis outside. But go ahead, Berto.
So painting a quick scenario, and Smitty, I'm glad you brought up JD Bertrand, right? So I'll take a page of what the philosophy of the Jacksonville Jaguars are doing, right? They want to stop paying these high-priced free agents and start homegrowing some talent, right? What if ideally the Falcons said the same thing and said, okay, we're gonna trot out Nate Landman, JD Bertrand in the middle with there was a backup that was playing Friday night. Elifo, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's a linebacker.
Elfler.
Yeah.
He played really well. And a guy that showed he could be the backup in that positions, in the two inside linebacker positions. But we say Troy Anderson and Caden Ellis, you guys are now going to play on the outside to bluster what we already have in-house with Zoe Carter, Arnold Ebiketie, hopefully D'Angelo Malone, James Smith-Williams. Is that an ideal situation? How would you guys feel if the organization came back and say, hey, we're not going to go and get this flashy player. We're gonna stick to homegrown talent, and this is what we're going to do. What do you guys feel?
Well, to be honest with you, I can honestly see that being the route that Terry would go. And honestly, we was talking about, go get this guy, go get that guy. That would be ideal. But let's just be honest, from what we have seen from the body of work from our GM, it's just not. He hasn't really he's gone after big names, but again, just to JR's point, he hasn't gotten them. But we haven't really been like a big splash type of a thing anyway. So I can see us trying to work from within. And like Arthur Blank has even said, grow our own children. I can really see them, just changing up and opening up that new dimension, and also letting the linebackers run and saving the money and possibly, just working from within. I can really see that. And I can honestly say that may be the actual ideal thing that's going to happen.
It would be the typical thing. And the reason why I say that, because as fans, as guys who sit down and make content and pour our efforts into doing things, such as this, it would be much more entertaining to get a Micah Parsons, right? Not just from a content standpoint, but for look, it ain't just, you look behind each one of us. It's the crazy passion that we have to sit here and do this, So we want our teams to be the best that they can be. But from an organizational standpoint, it's okay, how much are we actually relying on edge rushers? What does the scheme really call for? Look at what the Rams did last year. You got 9 sacks from Kobe Turner and however many from Aaron Donald. Those are interior guys, right? So the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So if they're thinking that their interior pressure is going to be what gets the job done, then they may be well and good with a guy like James Smith-Williams, having a lot more snaps than we anticipate him having. Or using,
I get your point, JR.
Or using, an Ellis or an Anderson on the edge from time to time to make up for how much you would have rolled Trice out there. So
I know a lot of Twitter hates when Falcon fans or Falcon content creators say, "Oh, the Michael Hoysett role." That proved to be a pretty important role, but that man tried out 9 sacks.
Hello.
for the Rams. It was a co-leader with Kobe Turner last year, like JR mentioned, in the interior. So a guy like James Smith can fill that void, that void or that hole in that role. But was Dr. Ganja mentioned an individual right here, Abdullah Carter, 2025. I am all on his hype train. Man, edge rusher out of Penn State. High on this kid. Can't wait to see what this season unfolds for this young man.
Double-digit sacks.
Boy, interesting to see.
Grease for sure, man.
I got one thing.
What's up,
JR mentioned about the defensive front, and that is because like I just said, when you're thinking about the outside, and you be like, dang, who our pass rushers are, and when Dan Raheem Morris mentioned that they thinking about going a little bit deeper, in the 53-man roster with defensive front, that could be their game plan, man. Like trying to create that pressure from the inside.
He could. And what's one thing? A lot of the guys that we drafted this year all scream versatility. Every guy on the line that we drafted could do a little bit more than what they're told to do. More importantly, Brandon Doyle's a guy that played the 3, the 5, and the 9. Who knows? He could be asked to play a little bit more of the 9, and it might work out. We don't know. But what's important is, and what we have to get right is the edge position, man. It's no, man. I can't stress how it is, man. We finished this year 22nd in sacks, even though we finished with 42, 20 plus more than we did the year prior under Ryan Nielsen. But sacks have to come in a way. But right now, it just doesn't look all too inspiring from what we have, man. This Falcons coaching staff is really going to be challenged, finding out whose strength is what and displaying them on a week-to-week basis.
Right. We need to outdo that by at least 10. But go ahead, Ricondo.
Yeah, I want to take let's wait and see mentality, man, because we really don't know. I mean, we ain't seen Jimmy Lake, call the defense yet. So we think we know, and they show the base in preseason. They're not going to really show you what they're going to do. We all know this, right? So it's real vanilla. So I want to say take the wait and see approach, man, but it just make you nervous. You just look at what we got. For me, for Troy Anderson, I don't think he know how to play the middle linebacker as good as he need to yet. So moving somewhere else.
Berto,
I don't know.
I don't
know about that.
You need to hit him with that quote again about why you said Troy Anderson belonged on the outside. I agree with that 100%.
I said it since he was drafted, man. That's a guy 6'4", runs 4.4. You need that straight down the line. You need to put him on the edge and see what magic he can possibly do, man. Yeah, I'm with Ricondo in a way. I think his versatility and his sideline to sideline speed make him a valuable piece to a middle linebacker. But I know that he can show a little bit more on the outside. But hey, who knows, man? We'll see what this coaching staff can do, man.
We need to also see what D'Angelo Malone has, y'all, because my goodness, this is pretty much your scheme, your system. You have an opportunity now. There's no Trice. Right. You need to step up and show that you can play the same way that you're playing on special teams. You know what I'm saying? Like within the scheme. Like you need to show that, along with Albert Katie, along with TQ Graham, who was having a career year before he got injured in Dean P's system. So maybe he can elevate himself. But regardless, I know we're talking about the edge, and we definitely need guys who can come off and be thumpers. Do we have that, though? That's the question. Do we have it now?
The only person I would put my stock in right now as a thumper is probably going to be Zach Harrison coming off the edge. Anybody outside of him, they may be a little bit too small to be a thumper. Because, you got to have size to do that.
So I finally found it as y'all were sitting there talking. I finally found the snap count from the game. So Ebiketie, who's been main topic, I'll give you full deal 96% of the snaps, which is 65 of the offensive snaps. Okay, that's how many offensive plays that the Dolphins ran, was about 65 to 70. All right, so keep that in mind. Ebiketie ran. He was out there for 25 snaps, so 35 or 37%, 30% of the defensive snaps, and he was on 11 snaps on the special teams. So he ran 37% on the defense
What?
and 33% of special teams. Now, you talk about Malone, right? Malone, 23 snaps, 22 on special teams. So
Yeah.
here's the part that kind of like shocked me a little bit is looking at this is the official like game log of the NFL, not not PFF, not Pro Football Reference, none of it. This is the league's stuff. Those snaps and Arnold Ebiketie didn't log a single stat.
Damn.
Not
Stop
a
playing.
single stop.
What?
I
Say that again.
Yeah,
He didn't
Not
get
a
yeah, he on
not a
he on the
not
hot
a
seat.
tackle, not
Definitely.
a tackle, not an assist, not a combo, not a tackle for loss.
Yeah.
He got
even
goose
pitched the
egg.
bitch.
Across the board.
36
Oh
Across the
yeah.
board.
Hey
Hey,
guys,
I
listen.
love coffee.
The
I love
doctor
coffee.
of all facts. The doctor
Coffee
of
right
all
here, my
facts
brother.
is definitely on the hot seat, y'all. Come on now.
He's
You
got to
didn't
be,
do
right?
nothing.
And then
Yeah, he
so
gotta
I'm
be.
looking at Malone, right? So they have both about the same kind of stats.
Right.
And so, okay, I say nothing. Excuse me. He had one tackle on special teams. That's Ebiketie. Malone
Yeah,
had
that's right. I
4
remember that.
tackles
Yeah.
on special teams.
Yeah, Malone was flying
And
around on
nothing
special
across the
teams.
board on defense.
Yep.
So
Right.
Tropical Sip Coffee Company asks, great content, guys. Thank you so much for joining the stream. He says, do y'all like coffee? And it's a resounding yes. As
yes.
a matter of fact,
Oh yes,
got some right now,
Love it.
man. So
Got some coffee. This man.
if you want to send some our way, and please do, please do, man.
Hey, and like Raymond said, don't forget the donuts.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
you know you gotta have the donuts for Smitty, man.
Oh,
How you donuts, man.
Man,
here's
man.
Here's another name we haven't talked about or we haven't really brought up, but he caught my eye during the game and at practice, and I'm trying to get back down to his snap count, but that's Damone Harris.
Oh yeah,
Ooh,
Damone. Yeah,
He's number 91.
Had a batted
Yeah, he
ball
was here
down.
last year.
Yeah.
He had
He was.
he 28 snaps, so he played 41%, and he did record a tackle. So that's a name to, but he's a bigger body guy. He's not.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's not a Trice. He's not an Ebiketie. He's not your Bender. He's a
Straight line.
that
guy.
Michael
Yeah.
Hoyt type role, or type body. So we'll see. Like as far as who they're going to replace Trice with,
Let me ask y'all this.
Right.
Let me ask y'all this.
We're not
Let me
sure if
ask
he's
y'all
on the
this.
roster right now.
Do you think they try to roll out a roll just a little bit more, but just because he played inside and out?
No, I think
Well,
we need to keep rolling.
if you're going to go
I
that
can see
route, then
Dorless doing it.
I was going to say
Yeah.
Dorless.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
can see
go with Dorless.
Yeah.
I go with
He
Dorless
has
as
the most
well.
versatility out of all the guys drafted. Roro, I think for now you just keep him in the middle of the
In the
defense as
inside.
defensive tackle.
Right.
Just
Yeah,
let him
I
play
agree.
inside
Let
until
me-
he learns.
I agree. I
Let me
just
ask
wanted to throw his
y'all-
name out there because we really ain't mentioned him.
Let me ask
Cool.
y'all: is this a worrying trend of trading up for the raw freak in the second round?
It's becoming a trend because
Oh, man,
man.
yeah, bro.
Ebiketie and Troy Anderson. Yeah,
And now Rook, like
Now
these
Rook.
guys are, yes, they check all your crazy measurable boxes, but they're raw, and yet we're adding extra picks to go get these guys, and as of right now,
Mm-hmm.
they ain't really panned out
Richie.
all that well.
Yeah. The only one that's panned out thus far has been Matthew Bergeron. And
That's
he's
it.
not a defensive player.
But he wasn't a freak, like he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was a guy that was highly sought after in that second round.
Right.
Many teams tried to trade up.
Dallas had
Dallas and New Orleans.
the
Oh, yeah.
eyes on him.
And let me
Absolutely
throw
not,
this out.
Jerry.
I'm not saying this because I know people take it the wrong way. But
Uh-oh.
Troy Anderson, you talking about Troy Anderson rushing the passer, right?
Right.
Michael Parsons is 6'3", 245.
Cool.
Troy Anderson is 6'4", 240.
Mhm.
240. I'm just saying. Michael
Same
Parsons running
speed.
4'3", Troy Anderson running 4'4". Like, if we say you're a freak, hey, that ain't
But
that
he
far
got
off,
to
man.
put it together. We
Yeah.
know what Michael is. The
Yeah.
jury is still out about Troy and his Anderson.
Yeah, it's out big time.
Pause.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So the Falcons, man, this week have a lot to think about, man. Of course, there's going to be some news hopefully coming out tomorrow or this week. We'll find out more on DeMarco Helm's availability for the rest of the year. What is this organization going to do as far as pivoting and either bringing in an outside presence to fill the void, or are they going to keep that mentality of, all right, you know what? It's time to start, coaching up this homegrown talent, and we're going to trot out what we have on staff. And that right there probably won't sit too well with the Falcon fan base, man, but it's it's their money to play with, man. So there's nothing that we can freaking do, man. But, one other thing that I don't want to happen is, another 2014 situation where we were signing guys that thought we were going to make an impact, like O.C. Umenyor and Steven Jackson. I don't want this Falcons team to turn into some stupid shit like that. It might be dumb enough that I said that, but we've had that. We've had that shit happen before in the past. So hopefully this organization does right, man, and just gets these better known names that still have a lot left in the tank.
But I got a question for y'all.
Go ahead.
If this started to become a trend, is his seat gonna get a little bit warm if he don't make the right move to straighten his problem out?
See, man, there's a contingent of this fan base that ain't gonna like to hear that, Smitty.
I don't give a
They think that TF can't go wrong.
Look. Everybody know me.
Gets a pass. I think he gets a pass. You know why? For the simple fact that this team hasn't been able to be as competitive in free agency and God knows how many years, right? So other than 2016 and maybe Don Terry Poe in 2017, what has the Falcons really landed as far as a big fish? We really couldn't. We've been in cap hell for so many years, and it took TF to come in and really make the tough decisions. So he gets a pass for me, man. He gets. I give him another 2 years.
Somebody just said it. Think about it. You went inside Kirk Cousins when you could have used that money towards something else and then still took Penix and put your trust in him.
I'm about to say, if you, I'll tell you this. I don't. I try to say it on our show all the time. People always take it the wrong way when I say it. I don't dislike Penix. I thought he was, one of the decent ones as far as like what you can hang your hat on.
Quarterback ready, yeah. NFL
yeah,
ready.
right. As far as like the draft and all that stuff goes, he had just as good a chance as anybody else. But if you're like going to sign Cousins and then in the same year draft Penix, that's just weird team building. I don't care how you want to spin it.
I'm gonna tell you what I told my cousin, JR. That's double jeopardy.
Double dipping, double everything.
Right. I know for a fact, I say for a fact, in my mind, I know they wanted to be up on that podium with Penix and with Latu or with Turner or with whatever. If that's what you wanted, then you had to be willing to sell the house to do it. And that's where Terry, like with Montez Sweat and like with this, he's not willing to mortgage or F them picks, mortgage the future.
But JR, you got to change that thought, that train of thought.
I agree.
The only way you're gonna build a winning team, you got to get game changing players. And Montez Sweat was in our backyard before he went to Chicago.
Yep.
They just didn't want to give up an extra pick to go get him. And like I said, if they wanted a 4th or 5th round pick, you got to give it up, man. Think about it. You getting an all-pro caliber player who went to Chicago and got just as many sacks, if not more, than he had in Washington.
And he wanted to be here. He wanted to be here. We know that.
You add on top of that, you get the clip of, polls reacting to your Penix pick, and then the audio comes out of them wanting to trade with you and give you a 4th to move, and you don't. Right. All this is stacking up to paint, in my mind, a not very favorable picture of how Terry Fontenot operates. Now, I'll give him all of his flowers in the world. Pro personnel, he's jam up at. But just like when we talk about coordinators becoming head coaches, sometimes what got you hired may be like your only fastball. Does that mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you may not be able to run an entire organization.
And
so
the reason why I stood behind the Cousins pick mainly is because I seen him bring in a busted Drew Brees from San Diego to New Orleans off a busted shoulder, who probably should have been in Miami. He took a chance on New Orleans. He ended up being a Hall of Fame quarterback. So in that aspect, he gave him the weapon that he needed in New Orleans. He's doing the same with Kirk Cousins. So at that aspect, he's building the offense right. But can the offense really carry this team with a first year,
now
with a first year offensive coordinator? That's what we're waiting to see.
Everybody just wants to assume that. Yeah, everybody just wants to assume that Zach Robinson is the next, the next bright mind, and he may be.
Right.
But there's a lot of going out on a limb just because it's our Falcons, and I hate to say it at this junction, why have the Falcons earned that in the past 7 years with us, as a like people on our channel are like, oh, JR, you're starting to be too negative, and I hate that because I started doing what we're doing just because I was tired of hearing all the negativity. Well, now doing it in this capacity, thinking about it and analyzing it, now I'm starting to really understand where it comes from.
But I don't understand why Falcons fans get so riled up about we giving our opinions. I told y'all the first two games, and Berto and Chris was sitting there. I told y'all after those first two games, something was still wrong. But what did they say? We won the game. Why y'all complaining? We still watching what's going on the field. So you got to criticize what's there. So I mean, come on.
Yeah. Right. I give Terry a pass, though. I think Terry is going to get a pass because of his body of work, as far as like working the money, stacking up on different positions and some depth and everything. And you can't really put the injuries on the GM. No. But I will say, it is your job to be able to pivot.
Right.
It is your job to be able to handle your business. That's exactly
my point. He needs to fix this problem.
Yep. Daddy used to always say, how you react is what defines you as a man.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So there's things that are going to be out of your control all day long. Like nobody in their right mind think we're going to go down to Miami and lose 3 players, in span of a week. Now it's how you react to that is going to start to define your legacy as a GM.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think we got a good one, man. Go ahead, Rocondo. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So I'm not going to relitigate the draft pick. You guys saw my reaction to that. So, and I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it now. I'm cool. So I'm not going to go ahead and relitigate that, but it is confusing a little bit. Because if you go out and pay a $180 million quarterback and then you take the future, which I understand it. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to go back to that. But at some point, man, I think Terry Fontenot is going to get a pass because of the new coach, Raheem Morris. And that's if Arthur Smith was still here, he'd be right along. They'd be right there together. But the fact that Raheem Morris here, and I believe that a lot of people banking on what Raheem Morris is going to be able to bring to the table from a coaching standpoint, and so I'm willing. Like I said, I feel different about this season than I feel about a lot of seasons because I don't know. I got a good feeling. I think the offense is going to be good, but to your point, it's a new offensive coordinator, got a new defense coordinator. So the talent's there. I think Kirk Cousins is going to be really good. But man, it's a strange season for me. Like, and be honest with you guys, if you notice, I haven't been doing as many shows as I usually do because I don't know what to say, man. I'm lost for words at this point. I'm just be honest with you. I feel good, but then I'm like, is the team really good? Like, I don't know. I don't. It's weird because we talked about the pass rushers. I don't see it. We didn't go get a second cornerback. All the things that I talked about before the offseason, before the trade, before the free agency, for the draft,
right?
They ain't do none of that stuff. They ain't cut players I thought they was gonna cut. They did like the total opposite of everything that I expected them to do when they brought in new coaching stuff. So they didn't do anything that I thought they was gonna do. They didn't restructure no contracts. They didn't go get no big name players.
But think about it, Ricondo. You got to think too. Raheem Morris was just here 5 years ago, so they really haven't really changed anything. And they kept a lot of the coaches that were on Arthur Smith's staff. So they tried to keep the same. They really keeping the same game plan in place and just trying to build off of it. If you notice, shit, really only Kirk Cousins is really the big move we made all season.
Yes, you brought in Kirk Cousins.
Yes, I mean, and if you put it in perspective, I mean, I think we could have won. If you think about it, you look at 3 games last year. We should have won the Panthers game. We should have won the Vikings game. We should have won the Cardinals game. That put us
Jets game,
right?
I mean, we did on the Jets game. I'm sorry.
That put us at 3 wins, right? I mean, 3. That's 10 wins right there. So
the Titans game. That's what I meant to say.
Titans.
I get it, man.
Arizona Cardinals game. Come on, there was like
Vikings, Cardinals, Titans. All them, man. Look,
all them games we should have won.
It's just strange.
We shouldn't have lost at home either.
What at the end of the day, what got Smith fired was, as we stated earlier, was hey, I think we're good at QB.
Yep.
And this has a feeling of, you remember a few years back when Ryan got like either close to or over 50 sacks. And that next year they drafted Lindstrom, McGarry, signed the 2 like the 4 big moves that you made was like, it was almost a statement of we ain't gonna do this again, right? And it feels that same way with the QB position. It's like Arthur Blank said, all right, boys, what we ain't gonna do this year, come hell or high water, is have bad QB play. I'll let y'all do this for the past 2 years with Mariota and Ritter, and what we ain't gonna do is do it again. And that's what they went and did. But again, this is that have your cake and eat it too. I'm trying to build now, and like that is hilarious. I saw that earlier today with like Pittsburgh fans.
Music to my ears and make my eyes smile. Already.
Pickens is going to ask for a trade before they even get to the season.
Man, we could.
I will defend Terry Fontenot. I will. I think he's done a fantastic job. Really.
I mean, I like Terry Fontenot.
I think he's done a good job collaborating with his coaches, more specifically now with Raheem. Some coordinators don't make good coaches, and that was evident with Arthur Smith. He couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle all of that, right? You talk about the quarterback room. You got to remember, Matt Ryan was here for 14 years, right? And we never really drafted any succession plan behind Matt Ryan. We failed at that every year. Arthur Blank had to open his eyes and be like, okay, now we can't do that. So Raheem, we're going to give you every chance to make this organization right. And I think it's exactly what he allowed him to do. I think that the Kirk Cousins and the Penix pick go hand in hand. I think it was I think it worked out good. And for the Montez Sweats that we missed out on and the Danielle Hunters that we missed out on, I think the Falcons' way to pivot in the draft was going back to back to back on the defensive line. I think that was their way to right that wrong. I could be wrong at the end of it, but that's just my opinion. That's what I feel the Falcons tried to do. They tried to deliver this fan base or this defense and their first year coordinator. That guy on defense is just, other teams. Man, they did try. Can't knock them for not trying.
Let me ask you,
Josh. Go ahead, Jerry.
No. I was gonna say, like, my only thing is, like, after this weekend, obviously preseason whatsoever, you see Latu like lighting it up. You see Turner lighting it up. Like, are you still okay with the idea that you're not going to see Penix for at minimum 2 years? Right. And
with it.
Probably,
and that's couldn't do his job. I don't know.
Right. And I get it. Like, at the end of the day, as I tell anybody, as I said for the past 2 years, and I'll continue to say, I hope it pans out. Because if it pans out, that means we're set at the most important position for the next 15 years. And that is far more important than anything else. But I will say this, as a fan who wants my team to be the best that it can be, it's going to be hard to watch the next 2 years if one or two or all three of these pass rushers go off and I'm sitting here looking at Bradley and I getting stonewalled, or D'Angelo Malone only able to make an impact on special teams.
That is another
thing
reason
about
why
it
we
is,
got Kirk
we'll
Cousins.
straighten that out.
But
go ahead.
That's one reason why we got Kirk Cousins, to keep the offense in sync, to keep the defense off the field. If they can keep the defense as fresh as possible every game, I think it's a win-win. But if they don't do that and they turn somehow not in rhythm, it's just gonna be a long season.
I see it like this though. Go ahead, Ricardo. No, let Ricardo go. Go ahead, Ricardo.
Yeah, I guess the point I'm making is, what I'm saying is that I just don't want the team to feel like, because he said it at the combine, we was a quarterback away. Like, we weren't just a quarterback away. I hope that's my point. That's the point I'm making. Like, they went and got Kirk Cousins and like, okay, now we good. Like,
but it does make sense. Like, it does make sense, because think about it. If they even had a half a quarterback last year, they would have won 4 or 5 more games. So they really were just a quarterback away last year, and they still have pretty much the same team this year. Just Kirk Cousins is the upgraded quarterback that we needed with the weapons that we've been drafting the last 3 to 4 years. Right. So I
see, that's why I'm saying it should be. You're right. I believe that Kyle Pitts, Drake London is going to have great years. I ain't lying. I think they're going to have. I think Kyle Pitts is going to get back to first season. I think Drake London. Drake London almost had 1,000 yards with freaking Mariota and Ritter. So I know they're going to have great seasons. So I agree with you. I'm just saying, like, dang, man, you could have did something, like, because it's not like we in salary cap hell. We're not. So just to say we good, that's what it feels like. So that's where I'm at right now.
But
now we'll say this:
what is the most important position on the field?
Quarterback.
Quarterback.
They went and got 2 of them. One short term, one long term. So they did their job. So now all they got to do is execute. Go ahead, Chris. My bad.
No, I was just about to say, the thing is, it's like people are worried about Penix and him not starting. I mean, yeah, it is all up to Kirk Cousins and his health, his production. Depending on, could get him a 3rd year. You never know. But at the same time, remember, Kirk Cousins didn't even start himself full time until he was 27, 28. Not saying that that's going to be Michael Penix's fate, but it's not the end of the world if your quarterback that you sign $100 million to is performing so well that you have to keep this guy on the bench. I know it doesn't help for right now, but just thinking about the long term and playing the long game, it's really up to Kirk Cousins and his production on how much Michael Penix does not see the field.
And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you people talking about Michael Penix's age. How old was Steve Young when he finally took over for Joe Montana? He had been in the league, I know, about 8 years at that point, 7, 8 years. So he was like 29, 30 when he took over. Just think about that.
That much I'm not as worried about as some folks are. Like I'll throw it out there to be sarcastic and joke, but his age I'm not very concerned about, because I mean look at Kirk Cousins himself. Like if you want to look at the model as far as him being as good as he has been, so that much I'm not worried about. My deal is like, this feels like I want to be a sarcastic jerk and say, okay, so next year, do we want to draft Carson Beck, just in case, to have a replacement for Penix? You know what I'm saying? Like that's like, but I'm trying.
I see your point. Yeah, I see where you're going.
I'm trying not to be like, like I said, like a sarcastic jerk. But it does, feel that way, because this feels like a, 2027 first round pick that we got in 2024. And if it works out and pans out, nobody will remember. Nobody will care.
But with these questions that we got going right now, next year definitely has to be edge rusher next year, because we talk about Lorenzo Carter, Arnold Ebiketie. We talk about guys that might not even be back. We got 4 guys on the edge rushing unit that could be gone after the year. Hell, they could be gone before the season starts.
They may not even make 53.
Exactly.
Well, I can tell you right now that as far as Terry Fontenot, his second round picks, man, They ain't panning out so far.
Those are in
They don't-
question.
Except
They
Bergeron.
ain't
Those
question
are in
for sure.
question.
Except Bergeron
Richie,
so far.
Troy, Arnold.
Yeah, the second round.
Trade back to day 3. Yeah, y'all have more
Yeah,
more
second
luck on
round
day
pick.
3.
Bro,
He
but
ain't doing
remember
good,
we
bro.
was
I can
talking
tell you
about
right
that
now.
too, though. We was talking about, hey, trade the second round
Right.
pick. You do better in later rounds anyway.
Right.
That's a fact, man. That's a
Yeah,
fact.
second round picks ain't been paying. Yeah, his first round picks. I think he been killing it. Second round picks been bad. Damn,
Mhm. Yeah.
second round picks been bad.
Well, gentlemen, man, we've been on for over an hour, man. We certainly appreciate
Man,
you
it's an
guys
hour
taking the
already.
time.
God damn.
Taking the
Damn,
time out of a Sunday
did
evening,
fly.
and to all the viewers that are out there, man, thank you for joining us this evening, man. A pop-up show, more than 220 eyes on the show from across all platforms. We certainly thank everybody that came out to rock with us this evening. Recondo, man, you got anything you're working on that folks should be paying attention to that you got coming out, man? Let the folks know where they can find you on your socials and push out what you got coming up, man.
Yep.
Pause.
So of course we
There
get
we
back
go.
to the season. So start to look out. I still haven't did my prediction for the seasons. I'll be honest with you guys.
Okay.
I still haven't did my 53-man
You
roster
You
projection.
scared to ask.
Yeah, because I don't know, man. I'm be honest with you. Like I said, I'm up in the air this season, so it's gonna be a strange season for me. Usually I be glass half full kind of guy. This year
Now,
I'm in the
now
middle.
you glass half empty,
No, it's halfway full. So
still half full.
because I don't know, but watch out for shows, guys. I'm gonna start. Like I said, I haven't been on doing a lot of shows. I've been doing at least one live a week, but if you guys know me, I was doing show after show after show after show. Definitely gonna get back into it. The season about to start back up, so be on the lookout for that. Just like he said, catch me on YouTube, Recondo Real Falcon Fan. The same thing on X, I guess, and then Instagram. And that's all I have. This is your boy Recondo coming back at you with another
There we go.
video.
We got one.
There it is.
We got
Chris,
one.
man, what are you working on, man? What are you working on, Chris? I know you've been taking TikTok by storm, man.
Oh man, shoot, man, just daily, yeah, just hey man, just daily, man, daily working on the channel,
Man.
coming up with different things. I do have a few ideas that I'm coming up with, formulating, it's going to turn into a video, so look out for that, man. A1 Forever Sports, the show that's cool and fly too. Be generational because it's always time to be, and don't settle for less because you can always have more with the vision. I know it's like 10-13 at night, but hopefully you guys have found your peace today. Positive energy always creates elevation, and that's how you find your peace. I was happy to be on here with Recondo, JR, 11K, AA, and you got A1, man. What else can you ask for on a Sunday night outside of Falcon football, So it's beautiful to have you guys up here and do something with you guys. It is what it is. Hey, what ain't no oh my what?
She said she trying to tell you shut up.
Man, anyhow, you better eat them snacks.
Oh man. JR, what you got,
man?
Oh man, y'all can always find me on Twitter. I'm at Grim1128. That's GRIMM1128, and we go live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Pound for Pound ATL on YouTube. Me and my co-host Jonathan will be live this Tuesday, yakking about this game, giving our thoughts. So come by and say what's up.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. She talking about her. We trying to go to sleep. Yeah, you 40 now, so you old.
You mean
hey, look,
you?
Look, I need to go to sleep. Before y'all started this whole thing, I was fixing to be like, I'm out, guys.
That's how it be.
Well, we're
but
glad
y'all know where to
on.
catch me, man.
Y'all
know where to catch me. Smitty Sports Machine on YouTube, on Twitter, Twix, X, whatever you want to call it. Fatboy Slam _21. I'm always on the starting drummer because that's what I do. And like I said, I had a big announcement, man. We ran across another former Falcon today. Well, we're gonna have him on the show Wednesday night, 9:30. Yeah, another late night show. We late night like starships, but look, we're gonna have fun, man, and make sure y'all come out because look, y'all know we put on for the city and we have fun. So Mr. Andre Crockett will be on joining us on Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. So y'all be there, be square, all that good stuff. Cause we gonna have fun, man. But Birdo, man, you know how
we may
rock,
need him
man.
to suit up, bro.
Yeah, boy, that linebacker. That's what I'm telling you.
Real.
But Birdo, you know,
go to sleep and take a nap, Joy. Take a nap, and you'll be right there.
Yes, sir. Man, it's your boy Birdo, your host, 95 North Falcons Talk Show. That's the platform on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter under RI Falcons, and I will be live tomorrow afternoon on Bleacher Report, 5 p.m. to talk about these. Some folks are calling them woeful already, but these Atlanta Falcons, goddammit. So you can find me on Bleacher Report at 5 o'clock live tomorrow afternoon for the panel for our guest JR and Ricondo. We will catch you Wednesday night at 9:30. Henry Crockett joins the show. Can't wait for that one. But until then, y'all enjoy your Sunday night. Go get your snacks. Peace.
Peace.